Hello and welcome back to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. Hopefully this is broadcasting the right way this time and not all crazy like it was last time with a little skinny screen. I thought I had flipped the camera, but I clearly had not. And unfortunately with Facebook, if you don't do it beforehand, they won't let you change it midstream. So I'm hoping that I'm broadcasting the right way this time. I wanted the wider screen so that y'all will be able to see the new products that I've got and that I'm playing with. So, all right, looks like it's good this time. I think we're good to go. So thanks so much for rejoining, Bree and Karen. So I appreciate you being here again. And Diana, thanks for joining as well. So, all right, so this is the card we're going to make today. It's actually a pretty quick one, but it's, the papers are so pretty. I can't help myself. This is some new products from the upcoming January to June. Can you believe that? 2022 mini catalog. Stampin' Up! Has got some early release products for us. And hey, Jenny and Marilyn and Christy, I see y'all are here. So, and Vicki, thanks for joining. So they have got some new product for us to play with. This is actually available for demonstrators to pre-order right now, and it will be available for customers beginning on November 2nd. I'm sorry, I wanted to get the date right. So November 2nd, you'll be able to order this pretty product as well. So again, this is the card. I'm going to set that aside for a minute while we talk about the product. So this is the Eden's Garden stamp set, which is a really pretty one. And again, this bundle, the dies stamp set bundle pricing will carry forward into the next mini catalog, which starts in January, which I can't believe. Gosh, already January 2022. I must be getting old. So this bundle will be carrying forward. The papers and the gems will not. So just wanted you to be aware of that to make sure that you got those ordered if you wanted them before they went away. So again, this is a bundle. It is a really pretty stamp set, good sentiments. It's one of those that's the distinctive stamps where it kind of gives you a good, like a more depth in the images with just one inking. So again, good stamp set. There are coordinating set, or there is a coordinating set of dies. That's what I'm trying to say. The dies don't necessarily cut out anything other than like the sentiments fit on here. This one does, and actually that one might be pretty skinny, but this one will fit on there. So the sentiments can be cut out with this die, but the rest of them are just some kind of accessory and coordinating pieces. Lots of pretty framing and layering and that sort of thing. There's a border die that's beautiful. So again, this is a bundle that will be available starting on November 2nd for customers to order, and it's going to run all the way through the next mini catalog. So it'll end sometime in June. So it'll be available at least that long for the bundle. Now, the pieces that you probably want to pay a little bit more attention to as we are moving through the products is the papers. Oh, it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paper. So this is a specialty pack, obviously, because it's got the gold foiling in it, and it's $15 in the U.S. I don't know outside of the U.S. the prices on it, but it's $15 in the U.S. It's 12 by 12 designer series paper. The colors are Evening Evergreen, gold foil, soft succulent, and then to me, obviously there's white on the background of it. So I was going to say, and even in some of the images, I feel like there's a little bit of white in them. So let's run through the paper pack really quickly. So these are two of the designs, and again, they're the foiled designs, and it's Evening Evergreen, soft succulent, and the gold foils. So hey, Cindy and Danette and Christy, glad you're joining as well. The back sides are a little bit more neutral. So those are, to me, that's soft succulent and white, but you may see a little, I think it's pretty much soft succulent and white on those two. And I'm trying to set these out of the way so I don't knock anything over because I have kind of a mess going here. So these are two more of the sheets. Again, it's gold foiling, and I'm trying to kind of move it around a little bit in the light so that the gold foiling hopefully it'll catch it in there and you'll be able to see the images. So again, mostly soft succulent, gold and white, and this one's got just a little touch every once in a while of the Evening Evergreen in it. I'm going to flip those over, and then the back sides, again, a little more neutral in the designs. This one's kind of a splatter look, and this is kind of a dotted line look or polka dotty kind of look. So very pretty. And I probably forgot to say the name. This is Eden, or Ever Eden. It's going to take me a minute to get used to saying that. Ever Eden Designer Series paper. And again, it's a specialty pack. And then this one has got the pretty evening evergreen in the background and the foil images on it. And this one has got evening evergreen soft succulent. And I don't know how well you can see, but there are tiny little polka dots that are gold foiled on it. So it's beautiful, beautiful paper. Hey, Catherine and Elise, glad you're here. And Kay as well. And Lori. So it is beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, you do need it, Karen. You need to order it right now. So, and then the backside, this one's got sort of the ombre look to it, and I know I'm probably saying that way wrong. I'm sure y'all will correct me. There are a million ways to say that word, but so it's sort of from soft succulent all the way down to the evening evergreen, and then this one's got evening evergreen and soft succulent, kind of a is that herringbone? I don't know. Again, it's one of the kind of patterned papers. A little more neutral pattern. So this is very, very pretty paper that's going to be great for all cards. Good thing, masculine cards with the greens in it. So it's beautiful, beautiful paper. So again, that is a full 12 by 12 pack. And there's also cotton paper is what it is called. So the weight of it and the feel of it reminds me a little bit of tissue paper. And because it's thin like that. But my friend Mary was die cutting it, and she said that it die cuts beautifully. So I'm happy to hear that. It's a little bit shinier on one side and a little bit more matte on the other side. And again, it's evening evergreen and soft succulent. And there are 10 sheets, 5 of each color in the packs. And this is Ever Eden 12 by 12 cotton paper is what it's called. And this will also be available beginning on November 3rd. November, see, I keep getting the date wrong. It's November 2nd. So it'll be available to order beginning November 2nd. And yours should be, yeah, you're going to love it, Catherine. It's really pretty. So, hey, Julie, thanks for joining. So, and there are some gems. They're called garden gems, and they are cherry cobbler and soft succulent. And there's the kind of marquee shape and just the little round ones like regular rhinestones, only they're cherry cobbler. And these, unfortunately, weren't available on the pre-order just yet. I will be getting a pack as soon as we can get our grubby little paws on them, but they weren't available when I ordered. So those are available as well. This collection, you'll be able to order the entire collection with one number if you would like to, or each item is available individually. You can get just the bundle, you can get just the stamp set, you can get just the dies, you can get just the papers, just the gems. So however you want to order it, you'll be able to do that. So again, it starts on November 2nd, and the papers, the 2 papers and the gems are only while supplies last. So if these are something that you love, and I know you will because they're beautiful, order early to make sure that you get yours. This bundle and the stamp sets and dies, that will carry forward into the next mini catalog. So those probably aren't as urgent to get, but you're going to want them all anyway, so you might as well just order them all right away. All right, so let me know if you have questions about this. I'll be sharing this same flyer out on my blog post tomorrow. If you don't follow my blog, it's stampwithamyk.com, so hop out there and follow along. And you will be, all the details will be posted out there tomorrow. And I did forget to say the dies are called Eden dies. So again, that's the Eden's Garden stamp set, Eden dies, and they're available in a bundle. And we're going to make a pretty card with them today. A couple other things before we get going. A few things that just got announced today. The Love Santa tag kit, which is in the current mini catalog, is actually available to start ordering tomorrow. So yay, those will be available beginning on October 6th. So depending on what day you're watching this, it may be today. So go out and get those ordered. It's $19 here in the U.S., and the kit has enough for 12 tags, and they're big. I mean, the video I saw of them, the tags look like they're like this big. So they would cover almost an entire card front. They're 2.5 by 4 3/4, so they're a very good size tag. There's a stamp set in there. There's a little ink spot, all the things that you need other than a scissors to put them together. And then they also have, which I know this is a terrible picture and you're not going to be able to see it, but there are little coordinating Love Santa treat bags that are also going to be available tomorrow. They're food safe bags, and they're 4 inches by 9.5. There are 12 of them in a pack, and there are 4 different designs, 3 of each design in the pack. So definitely hop on and get those ordered tomorrow. And also tomorrow, one other very exciting thing, Stampin' Up! Is updating their clearance rack. They haven't told us at all what's going to be on it. I have no idea how many things, what it will be, but they did tell us they're going to be updating the clearance rack tomorrow, and obviously that is all while supplies last. So hop out early. The sale is supposed to go live at 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time in the middle of the night tonight. So hop on out there, get the clearance rack items, get your tag kit, and then get ready to order your Eden's Garden stuff next month. So, all right. So again, let me know if you have any questions about that. Again, the details I posted for the tags and the clearance rack update out on my blog already. So you can stop by stampwithamyk.com and see those details. One more thing that I did use on this card front, I did use the Tasteful Labels dies. I used the larger circle die here for the sentiment, but otherwise all the other die cuts were from the Eden dies from the new bundle. All right, so let's get going. I have got a piece or a card base of soft succulent, and again, this will work on whichever style, whether you prefer the book style card base or the top fold like I do. This one is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2, but it will also work on your standard issue 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4 card base as well. This is a piece of the really pretty, and I'm using it almost makes me sad to not use the foiled side, but I thought the foil would get to be too busy if we did foil on top of foil on top of foil. So I'm using the little bit more matte side of the Ever Eden Designer Series paper. And this is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it should fit perfectly onto the card front. And I'm using a little multi-purpose liquid glue to stick the two pieces together. And that gives me just a minute to be able to wiggle it around and make sure that everything is lined up and straight before it's stuck down forever and ever. All right, and I think we've got that. So, oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Pam. And thanks so much, Julie. So the paper is beautiful, Deb. Definitely get it. Don't even think about it. Just get it because you're going to love it. So, all right, I've got another piece of the Eden Garden designer. I'm sorry, Ever Eden. I'm going to get the name wrong the whole time. Designer Series paper. This one's cut to 2 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal down both sides of it, and I'm going to show you the cheater technique that I use when I'm adhering gold foil. Because gold foil, you only get 2 sheets in a pack, and I hate to waste it. Well, it's not really wasting it using it on a card, but for something like this, nobody is going to ever know that the gold foil doesn't cover the entire little section underneath the designer paper. So just take a smaller piece. This piece I have cut to about 3/4 of an inch wide. And then I've got another piece over here that's about 3/4 of an inch wide, and I'm just going to do the same thing with that. Just adhere it here so that there's a little peak of the gold foil, and it looks like it runs all the way across the back, but only you and I will know that I cheated and saved a little foil in the middle. All right, let me grab my paper snips here. And you got yours yesterday. It is beautiful. So, and yes, Nancy, the colors are fantastic in it. You are going to love it. So I'm going to trim off, hopefully, the extent of my fussy cutting. Trim off the bottom here to make sure that those line up, and hopefully I didn't trim off too much. And then we're going to adhere it to the card front, and I'm going to do my best to get it centered on the card. And again, just going to use a little Stampin' Seal to adhere the pieces together. I'm going to run a little bit down the middle too so that it stays stuck in the middle. And I'm going to line it up on my grid paper. So again, hopefully that will help me. So I've got 3 squares, 3 squares. Hopefully I can get it centered in the middle of those. And top to bottom straight as well. All right. So I do love the grid paper. It does help me get things lined up straight. So if you don't have a pack of this, again, that's something you should always have on hand, available, always ready to use. I stamp on it all the time and I love it. So definitely well worth it. This is one just basic white cardstock that I cut with this little framing die from the Eden dies. So I just cut basic white cardstock with it, and we're just going to adhere it on in a couple of pieces. Oh, you're not too late. You can always catch the replay if you if you ever miss out. And yep, I don't know. I tend to talk really fast, so people complain about that. But I can't help it. I get all excited and want to show you all the new things. So I start talking 100 miles an hour. All right, so I'm using a little bit of liquid glue, and we're just going to adhere these two together. And again, there's no special, placement or anything that I need to have it on here. It can be in the middle. It can be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, wherever you would like it to be. The only thing I tried to do is make sure that it was centered side to side. And I just used little kind of dabs of glue because I'm going to be layering a bunch of things over the top of it that will help to hold it in place. So I didn't feel like I needed to put globs of glue on it to make sure that it was going to stay forever and ever. I just needed it to stay in place basically until I started sticking things over the top of it. So gold foil, you love the gold foil paper and the green. It's really, really pretty. It's such a beautiful set. Beautiful set, or a beautiful pack of paper. So, all right, speaking of the gold foil, I did cut a piece of gold foil, again, with the little die that I think is designed for sentiments, but I'm using it for layering underneath. I don't know for sure if it's for sentiments, or I think it will layer, I think it'll layer okay underneath that. So I think you can kind of use it however you want to. But I used it as kind of a layer underneath my sentiment. So I'm going to take Stampin' Seal, run it down the middle of that, and we are going to stick it right over the top, and hopefully centered and straight over the top of my basic white layer. All right. Next up, I did the die cutting ahead of time just because it's not very exciting to sit and watch me run through the die cutting machine over and over again. 50 billion of these little die cut branches here. But I did die cut some from Evening Evergreen, and I actually have an extra one here, some from Soft Succulent, and some from the gold foil sheets. So I cut kind of a little variety of these, and we're just going to kind of tuck them right around here. If you haven't done the card before, which I did mine ahead, so I kind of have an idea of where I want these placed, you can definitely do your sentiment ahead of time and then tuck your greenery around it so you kind of know where to place it. But like I said, since I did the card ahead of time and I'm just doing it like the sample, I have a pretty good idea, although I can still mess it up because I've done it before, pretty good idea of where I want the little die cuts to land. So I'm just using glue dots to adhere those on. And I do the greenery with the, no, that is the right way. I thought I put it upside down. I'm like, just get busy talking and I'm not paying attention to what I should be doing. So, but yes, I agree. The greens with the gold is beautiful. And the Evening Evergreen, I think really is, I love the Soft Succulent, but I feel like just the little touches of the Evening Evergreen in it really make the paper outstanding. So it's just, like I said, it's beautiful. And you will want it, and you'll want more than one pack. So trust me on this. Don't delay and get yours right away as soon as you can. On November 2nd, get yourself a pack or 3 or 5 because you're going to love it and you're going to use a ton of it anyway. So, all right. So again, I'm just taking the gold leaf now and kind of tucking that up in here. Then I'm going to take the greenery and tuck it here around the bottom. I'm going to start with Soft Succulent on this one. And again, just using glue dots to adhere them. And I think we'll kind of go about there with that one. Then I'm going to take the Evening Evergreen and adhere that one on. And I think we'll kind of tuck that one down here. And then we'll do the final one with the gold. And then we'll just do our sentiment, add a few gems, and we'll be done with our card. So it's pretty simple, but like I said, I don't think, especially with that really pretty paper, you don't need to add a whole pile to it to have a beautiful card, at least in my opinion. I think it's pretty. I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out. All right, so I've got a piece of Soft Succulent cardstock just a scrap paper that I've got left, and I'm using the Sending Hugs sentiment, again from the Eden's Garden stamp set. So I don't know if you missed it earlier on. This is a new product from the upcoming January to June 2022. I almost said 2021. Goodness, 2022 catalog. So Stampin' Up! Is doing an early release, and let us get our hands on it extra early as demonstrators. So I'm just going to use Versamark ink. Going to ink up my sentiment, hopefully pretty well here, and cover that before I start doing anything else and end up either with my fingers in it or a pile of embossing powder. So no worries, Denise. Definitely you can check out the replay. I showed all the products for this new suite earlier on, so go back and take a peek at it. And I think you're going to like what you see. The paper is beautiful. So I've got white embossing powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top of the sentiment. And then we're going to do some quick heat embossing with it. Let me close that up because I will blow embossing powder everywhere if I don't. So I've got the heat tool here. The Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 settings on it. Level 1 is for drying and level 2 is for heat embossing. And so I've got it on the level 2 setting. I'm giving it a second to heat up while I yap and carry on. And so that the heat embossing will start pretty quickly. And I agree, 2022, like I said, I guess that officially means that I'm getting old, because I don't know where the whole year of 2021 went, but yes, we're getting ready to do the 2022 catalog. So, all right, so doing a little heat embossing here. And don't want to overcook it, because you can burn your embossing powder and your paper, neither of which is good. So just make sure you wait until it gets kind of smooth and shiny, and then it's all done. I'm going to use this die, a little circle die, well, the larger of the two circle dies from the Tasteful Labels dies, and I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine, which is over here to my right. So hang on one second, I'll be off screen. Hopefully y'all are enjoying your Tuesday. It's kind of a rainy day here in New Jersey. But can't complain, it's fall weather, which I love. It's cooler. It's kind of the jeans and t-shirt kind of weather, which is my favorite. So don't have to get too bundled up to go out, but you're also not sweating and icky. So this is definitely my favorite time of year. All right, let's set that aside, and I'll grab a couple Stampin' Dimensionals and adhere my sentiment down. Now, when I'm putting the sentiment on here, I want to be a little bit aware of where I put my Stampin' Dimensionals. So I think I'm going to stick them to the card front rather than the back of the sentiment, so that they don't end up with the Stampin' Dimensionals stuck on top of a big pile of die cuts and have my sentiment look kind of odd and lumpy. Nobody wants a lumpy sentiment. So, all right, so just take your Stampin' Dimensionals and adhere them to the card front. Again, you're going to want to place your sentiment over the top first, so you have a general idea of where you want the dimensionals to be, but then stick your sentiment right over the top. The last little piece for the card front is I've got some of the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels, and those are pretty. So I'm using the Evening Evergreen on here just because I wanted them to stand out a little bit. The soft succulent would also work, and if you wanted to add a little bit of, come on now, there we go. If you wanted to add a little bit of color, you could definitely add one of the other colors as well, but I thought these two would work nicely. I actually think you could probably get away with the Pale Papaya, because those almost look gold when you put them on top of that gold foil. So that might also be kind of pretty. Or there are the Gilded Gems, which are also gold, and they're real shiny, so those would be pretty with it as well. So that is it for the card front. So super simple, but like I said, I love the sparkle on the paper, the little bit of shimmer from the gold, and the little bit of shimmer from the gems, and I think that's really all you need. You don't need to have a whole ton of stuff on it to make it be a pretty card. All right, so on the inside of the card, I just did a basic white cardstock panel. This one's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to run a little Stampin' Seal across the bottom, and then I've got my leftover piece of Designer Series paper that I trimmed off when I made the card front, and I just I'm going to adhere that to the bottom. It's about a 1/2 inch wide, and it's about 4 1/4, half an inch tall, wide, I don't know, 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 is about what it is. So I'm just trimming off the little bit of excess so that I can fit it inside the card, and then just using a little bit of Stampin' Seal to adhere this inside the card base, and we're going to be all done for the day. All right, so let's adhere those two together. And then I will grab the bone folder and do a quick crease across the top. I'm going to be a little careful on that gold foil. I don't want to rub too hard across that, so I'll work on creasing where the cardstock is at and not necessarily where the foil is. But that's it for today. So beautiful, beautiful new products. Again, this is all going to be available for customers to start ordering on November 2nd. The papers are while supplies last. I can't stress that enough. Papers and the gems while supplies last, so get your orders in early for those. The stamp set and dies will carry over into the next mini catalog, which will be the January to June one. So those will be around for a little bit, so if you can only get one of the two, get your papers first, and then worry about getting your die set and stamp set later on. But you're going to want everything, so just order it all. Like I said, it's all good. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'll be posting all the details for this project, and the flyer, also a link to that on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. So hop out and follow along there. And I will also share the link in the description of this video, so you'll be able to find that tomorrow as well once the blog post goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning. So thanks again for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I will plan to be live on my YouTube channel on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and then back here again on Facebook Live around 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Tuesday. Talk to you soon.